Welcome back. The San Diego housing market has faced its ups and downs over the last year, but with the busy summer buying season upon us, well, we wanted to check in with Jim Bottrell from the Jim Bottrell Real Estate Team. Jim, thanks so much for being here.
Thanks
we appreciate it. Yeah, of course. So let's get into it a little bit. It seems like some people say the market is down, some say it's up. What are you seeing out there with your clients?
Well, I'm saying the market is back. The market is on fire. You may remember that the housing market went down from the peak in June. It's gone down 22%, and it bottomed right around January 15th of this year. You may remember I was in here, and it might have been with you actually.
Yeah, I think so.
Where I said, hey, this is kind of an anomaly at the end of June or end of January, and I said, this might be a flash in the pan. It's not. The market is back. It is on fire. We're seeing multiple offers on properties, sometimes over 50 offers on a property. Last weekend, we had a line coming out the door going all the way around the corner, looking like the line to Matterhorn at Disneyland. Right? Houses going, most houses are going at or slightly above asking price, but some of them are going way, way, way above asking.
I mean, it seems almost a little surprising because it feels like all we're talking about is recession fears and interest rates going up, and that is hindering people's excitement to get out there and buy a home. So why do you think that is not hindering from people from going out and trying to buy?
Well, what happened is the reason the market went down is because interest rates were spiking up so fast. I mean, the fastest increases we've ever had in the nation's history. So the buyers are just saying no or out. So there were no buyers in the second half of last year. They just disappeared, understandably. But now, we're reluctantly used to paying $5 a gallon for gas, right? Right. Buyers are now reluctantly used to paying 6% for interest rates. So the buyers have all come back. So all that pent-up demand plus the normal ones we'd have now, they're all here. However, there's no houses for them to buy.
Right.
It's a massive shortage of houses. Builders are not going to be able to pull us out of it. And plus, there's not a lot of flat buildable land around here anyway. So there aren't going to be new construction to get us out of it. You also have all those people that have an interest rate that starts with a 2 or a 3. I make the joke, they're dug in like an Alabama tick. They are not selling their houses. I used to love my home, but now I love my interest rate. So there's not going to be any flood of houses coming on the market to balance this out. So simple supply and demand function economics. When demand exceeds supply, prices go up. That is going to be the next 3 to 5 years. We won't have the inventory, but we will have the buyers.
Is there any argument that you can make to someone who owns a home to put their house up if they're even considering it at this point?
Depends on what they want to do with it. I mean, it's a good time. They're not going to be competing against a bunch of people. So, yeah, if they want to sell your house, if you've got a plan with it, I mean, I wouldn't say sell the house and put the money in cash. I think that'd be kind of silly.
Sure. Okay. Well, obviously, the other thing a lot of people are talking about is the Biden administration's plan here to make it so people with good credit scores are going to end up paying a little bit more at closing. So walk us through that and what it really means.
Yeah, so there are a lot of people extremely upset about this, and I get it. So what has happened is the Biden administration signed an executive order, which, by the way, takes effect tomorrow. So it is the law as of tomorrow. All right, and what it does is it changes the LLPA matrix, and what that is the loan level price adjustment matrix. It's been around since 2008. So what that matrix does is it just makes adjustments for people's interest rates based on their qualifying criteria, like how much money they're putting down and what are their FICO scores. So the best way to really explain this is to use a hypothetical example. So let's say we have buyer one. Buyer one has, they've saved their money, they have a 20% or more down payment, and they have paid their bills on time every time, and let's say they have an 800 FICO. These people are the lowest risk to the bank, right? So they will get the best interest rate. Makes sense. Now we have buyer two, conversely. These people, let's say they don't have much or any of a down payment, and let's say they struggle with their bills, so maybe they've got a 580 FICO. 580 FICOs buy houses all the time, by the way. It's great. Yeah. But what the matrix does is, since they are higher risk for a number of reasons, both down payment and their credit history, so the matrix would adjust their interest rates to, let's say, 7%. Now, most people understand that. Most people think that's fair, right? But not Joe Biden. So Joe Biden has signed an executive order, again, takes effect tomorrow, that adjusts the LLPA. So now that buyer one, they're not getting that 6% anymore. Now they're going to pay 6, maybe 6 1/8, 6 1/4, something like that. And then buyer number two, they're not getting the 7%. Now it's going to be adjusted down to, let's say, 6 3/4, and their closing costs are going to come down. And that's being paid for by buyer one, the person who did everything. And that's why everybody's so upset about it. Now, there's some big rumors out there, and I want to dispel them right now. So the rumors out there, and I heard this in a sandwich shop yesterday, people were talking about it.
Sure.
They thought, well, if I've got great credit, somebody with bad credit's going to get a lower interest rate than me. No, that's not the case. Because remember, buyer one's at 6% going to 6 1/4. Buyer two is at 7 going to 6 3/4. The people with a not as good credit are still going to pay a higher interest rate, but the gap is being squished a little bit. The other thing is now there's people also saying, well, I'm not going to buy a house anymore. That's kind of silly because it's not going up that much, like $40, $50, $60. So your mortgage, maybe a $4,000 mortgage is going to go to $4,050. That should not play in your decision-making process as to whether or not you want to buy a house. I understand that mathematically it makes no difference. It's insignificant. Logically, it didn't make a difference. Mentally, though, that's a tough pill to swallow.
Big changes. I'm glad you're here to break them all
Yeah.
down for us. Jim, thanks so much for stopping by. We
Thank you.
appreciate it. Lindsay, back to you.